Yeah, they have to be careful when you taking on another wife, whether it be two, three, or four, that whatever you're telling this person that's coming in, you should not be airing out the dirty laundry of the first wife.
Mm-hmm.
Even if y'all having issues, that's none of their business. She's marrying you. She's not marrying your wife and you. You understand? Yeah. So if you're feeding her like, you know what, I'm not really feeling her, you know, we got kids or whatever the situation is, she just there for the moment, but I know soon one day it'll just be me and you. And then this person coming in hears that, guess what? They already know that they're there to replace that person. And so they're going to express that to that person. So that's why I said, like, with the brother, you know, with an ideal situation, that isn't this case. But if he's doing that, that contributes to that. But just say that he isn't contributing to that and just a person that's coming in, not understanding the dynamics, that your role is not to replace anybody. Mm-hmm. Because just like you coming in to replace somebody, you can be replaced. Same situation, you know. And the adulterated thing, if you got together with someone, and I'm not talking about Islamically, but it can happen in Islam. Y'all cheated with each other. One of y'all were married and y'all got together, right? And then y'all decide to get married later. Guess what? That same situation is going to repeat itself. It's no good in that.
Yeah.
It's no good in that. So
the scholars say, "Nihayatuka fi bidayatuka." Your ending is in your beginning. Mm-hmm. So, in other words, the secret of how whatever you're involved in is going to end, the secret or the root or the essence of that is in how you started it.
Right, right.
You know, so you man, why did this thing end so bad? Well, how did it start? Was it a lot of deception? Was it a lot of lying? Did a lot of people have to get hurt to make that thing happen? Mm-hmm. Well, how do you expect it to end?
Mm-hmm. Right. So you don't realize where you are. You have to backtrack and see how did it start. Yeah. And one of these things here, alhamdulillah, Aisha is one of the wives of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, you know. And so she has a level of prestige, you know what I'm saying? And so
a high level.
Right. So she's not just anybody.
Yeah.
But yet she had to be checked too, and that's a lesson for us, how we should handle ourselves. And as women, we do get jealous, whether we want to admit it or not, and some of us express it in a way that it's not becoming of a Muslima, and it's not becoming of a woman, period. And so sometimes it gets the best of ourselves, and we get ourselves into some issues.
Man, how you know I was going to bring up that?
She said you can do it. So here it is. Not only did she was saying that Allah replace her with something better, she even said an unkind thing about what she looked like. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You said what, toothless?
Yeah.
Toothless lady?
Yeah, actually,
old toothless lady.
The Arabic actually mean like red gummed or red mouth.
That was not nice. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so, by saying that, do you think that's going to make your husband love you more by putting down the other wife? Now, this wife, like we said, she's not even here. She done returned back to Allah, and you still got issues.
That shows you, because, if you gather up, the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam really loved Khadijah. Mm-hmm. When her family and friends would come by, for example, if he would sacrifice an animal, mm-hmm. he would always, when he split up and divided up to who he's going to give it to, he always made some for Khadijah, her family and friends, mm-hmm. and stuff like that. He always thought about her and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And so Aisha seeing this,
right? That's true, because he's always mentioning her. Okay. She said, sad, but very true. They think the brother's unhappy. I'm just going back to what I was saying. They think the brother's unhappy and seeing another to escape his current right.
And some brothers do that.
And they shouldn't do that.
And I don't agree with that. If you unhappy with your current wife, deal with that. Don't try to medicate it with another wife. That's going to
make the situation worse.
That's not going to make it any better. It's not dealing with the issue. Deal with the issue.
And it seems like you're not, how can I say it? Like marriage itself takes work, just to work on just with one person. You understand? Yeah. And so there's hadith where it says that if there's something, I don't know if it's a hadith or Quran, where if there may be a thing that you do not like, there might be something that you do like.
So the Baqarah. You may love a thing when Allah has placed when it's not good for you. I'm paraphrasing it. And you may dislike a thing that Allah placed abundant good for you in it. And Allah says virtually the same thing in 2 times in Surah Baqarah. One time was about fighting, the other time was about your women or your wives.
Right. So, there may be something that you don't like in your spouse. You don't just get rid of the spouse or just try to replace that spouse. You're working with that, because sometimes there's things there we concentrate so much on the negative that we don't even see the positive. Now, you might have a wife or a husband that might do something that just irk your nerves. Just think about something that just really just irk your nerves. Like, you know what? I don't think I could deal with this.
Yeah, I'm thinking of something.
And so,
oh my God.
But there is something about them that is good. And so that good, you should pay more, concentrate more on that. And just think Allah, alhamdulillah, there is good in this person. And so after a while, when you are grateful for that thing, Allah would either change that person totally where they don't irk you that way, or he'll bring you to a level of consciousness where, you know what, they do that, so what? I love this about them or whatever. I can deal with that. And I'm not talking about something like egregious, like, domestic violence. We're not talking about that. I'm just talking about those things in marriage that happen. Maybe he leave the toilet seat up. Maybe,
or maybe he
dig
beat
up
you.
his nose.
Maybe,
no.
Because like sisters, like, subhanAllah, I don't know where these guys come from. A sister come to the bathroom with a black eye, all beat up. Be patient.
What?
Be patient.
No. We're not talking about those situations.
I know. I'm just because it's almost proverbial in our community now when you hear sisters talk, and it takes a lot, because if it got to the level where he's physically beating you, he's also controlling and curtailing your movements and stuff. So it takes a lot for a sister to come out to somebody to somebody outside the family, like an imam, and say, "Listen, this is what's going on in my house." Right. And then you got the audacity to say, "Be patient." SubhanAllah.
Let him beat you. Give you a black eye on the other side. Maybe then we can do something. Abdullah. No, it shouldn't even reach that point.
Alhamdulillah, I come from a community. I remember several times. Like, this is back when we had landlines. And I remember distinctly one time, a sister called the masjid, said, "My husband's beating me. He's here right now. He's hitting me." And me and the brother told the sister, said, "We coming right." We jumped in the car and jetted over the brother's house. And he left.
He knew what was coming from.
And then, that's right. And then he called his house, "What your brother's doing in my house?" I said, "Come back and find out." Right.
But things like that will not happen if we had community. Yeah. You understand?
Yeah.
When you have community, you cannot hide things like that. You would not even think about doing something like that, because you know that it will get out and someone's going to, G-check you. Yeah. You understand? But these days, nobody want to talk about anything. You want to keep it under wraps. Yeah. You got brothers that have a problem with their hands, and nobody want to speak on that. So when a sister come around want to marry him, everybody is hushed. Everybody mom, nobody want to say nothing. Me, if I know and the sister come, listen, that brother, he like to lay hands. You want a life like that? You want someone like that?
And now, some women still go through it. It happens.
If they say yes, it's nothing you can do. You understand? You can persuade them, just like a sister may be in domestic violence situation that's already in there. It's easy to say, just get out. There's like a mental thing that happens, because these people, Muslim or not, they have a habit. And even with molestation, what have you, there's like with molestation, there's a grooming period until they get to that point, right? Now with the domestic violence, there is that cut everybody off, cut your mama off, cut your brother off, cut your cousin off, just cut everybody off. It's called
priming as well.
Right. So you set the situation where she feel like she doesn't have a place to go. She don't feel like she have no support or anything like that, And speaking from experience, it get like that because they'll talk to you like, nobody wants you, nobody care about you. You better be glad you with me. And you're like, this is what is what is there for me. And so when you feel like that, you don't leave. You feel like just like Stockholm syndrome. You know how people.
I'm sorry, I took you off on that tangent, but we was going someplace else, and I went there. I'm sorry. Right.
I'll bring it back. Let me just mention this. Okay. We have to mention this. All right. People have Stockholm syndrome where they sympathize with their, captors.
And don't want to leave.
Yeah. You understand? So it's a whole psychology behind that. But anyway.
I forgot where you was going. And you tried to stay on track, and I took you off.
It was his fault.
Yeah? Khalil said, so it's safe to say that Khadijah was sweating our beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Well, there he go. The other way around.
But there's an honor in sweating someone like the Prophet.
Right, it is an honor. So alhamdulillah, for her to have that opportunity. Alhamdulillah. Women shouldn't compare themselves to the other wife. It shouldn't be a competition because men love who they love. He may like one for this, that, and the other. You can't compare with that. I don't care what you do. You could do everything under the sun.
A real man is just going to make you look worse in his eyes.
He'll still find something else that he wants and you don't possess it. Just accept the fact, and it is not taking nothing away from you.
And brothers, you can tell beforehand because, the sister that you thinking about marrying, she always bringing up the other wife. Mm-hmm. Or if they're not friends on social media, she'll befriend her, right? And she's trying to get all in her mix.
Yeah.
Why?
Why you like? Listen, look at me.
Like why are you trying to get all it up into? And some women try to justify it, like, well, I want to see how he's treating her, so I know what I'm getting into. That most time that's just an excuse. You just want to game.
Just want to get in there and trying to find something, and you can't find something. Let me tell you our story real quick. When I was growing up, I was just young and dumb. I forgot how old I was. I was like pre-teen, maybe teen, like 13, 12 or whatever. It was this girl. And at the time, she was singing, she sung in this church. She had a little church. You know how one of them little storefront church, like it just 3 people in it? She was part of that, right? And she, and I went to the church, a couple of times or what have you. And so she used to have a little boyfriend that used to be around. Mm-hmm. No judgment, like it was different in them times, but it was a nice looking dude that was paying attention to her. She was square. She didn't dress all any old kind of way. Just dressed like a church girl. Think about a church girl. How plain.
You gotta be careful who we talking about and how old you are.
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! I'm talking about what's this? This is like late 80s.
This ain't 2019.
Oh my goodness!
Church
I
girl
forgot.
Nowadays, it's like the strip club.
Oh my goodness! Listen, I forgot. I have to remind myself. I'm talking about mid 80s, mid 80s. So I'm telling my age.
Yeah, you real.
and so back then, church girls look like church girls. Wore long skirts and things like that. She was very, very plain.
Skirt, stockings.
Yeah,
slips.
everything. Right. And, I wasn't like that. Okay. And so I kept saying, like, what did he see in her? She not, me looking at another female like that. I'm like, what did he see in her? And I could not, for the life of me, figure out what he saw in her. Mm-hmm. You understand? And then, as you get older and go through experience, it wasn't nothing for me to figure out. That's what he loved. That's what he liked. That was his type. And for me to even try to figure that out, I was, minding their business when I should have been minding my business and, worry about myself or what have you.
You should have been thinking about the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Right. But just now, the same thing.
See, that's why you Muslim now. You wasn't thinking about the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. You worried about what he see in her.
Right. And so now it's like, why are you worrying about what he see in her? And it's not always about beauty. And it's not all about what's going on in the bedroom. Some people are like, well, she must be doing this. It ain't even got nothing to do with that. It's their chemistry. It's just something that you cannot explain that Allah placed between those two people. And there's nothing that you can do to break that up by Allah's permission. You understand? Nothing you can do. So it's just one of those things. Just get your thing, get your connection.
Yeah,
Build your marriage with your husband, even though you may be sharing them with other women. Build your marriage, because Allah's not going to ask you about your marriage, her about your marriage, and vice versa, or what have you. You know what I'm saying? So we have to be mindful of that. And so, Khadijah, she was a woman of honor. She was unselfish. You understand? She supported him. When he came to her, when he was first visited by Jibril alayhi salam, she was like, you liar, whatever. Even though we know the Prophet ﷺ wasn't a liar, and he spoke the truth all the time, she believed him. She didn't shoo him away like, go somewhere. She didn't come with that. She was there. She comforted him.
And on top of that, the statement says, part of the statement is that she supported me with her wealth. You have to understand is that he was living with his uncle at the time they got married and was working for her. He had his own money, right? When they got married, he was working
for her.
And then that slowed down. And when when Angel Jibril came to him, that work stopped. He wasn't still a merchant after that. She supported him.
Right.
She supported his quote-unquote ministry.
Right. And she didn't look at it as, well, I'm taking care of you, then you need to listen to me. I wear the pants up in here. No, it wasn't that type of thing. Yeah. She did it because it was needed. The support was there. The need was there. And she was there to assist as much as she can. Yeah. Let me see. Yeah, go back. Let's go back because we are...
I went past everything. Yeah.
Oh, you didn't read it, though. Thanks for addressing this issue.
Go ahead, read it.
See, we about to have an argument, y'all, right? Y'all ready? Thanks for addressing the issue of polygyny. I understand the hostile environment. Thanks for speaking about it. Alhamdulillah. Women do that now. That fat so-and-so, that dirty so-and-so. But guess what? He's still with that so-and-so. What does that make you a woman who loves a man that loves that fat so-and-so? Yep. Exactly. Hey. And he can't do nothing about it.
Your rough hands.
I'm sorry, when talking about speaking confidence into your man when he's uneasy with something, look at how Khadijah comforted and reassured Rasulullah.
Let's address that. The proverb, baby, I have a vision. I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to do that. Or you have a vision. Why don't you vision some of these bills around here? Come on, what you have in your vision, your dreams. Why don't you wake up and pay these bills, right?
Yep. And that's another thing, a tip. We've been married for a minute, and not with that we know everything, but there's some tips. When your spouse come with you with an idea, even though you may not agree with it, you support them. You understand? You be with them, whether it flop or not, alhamdulillah. Be their support, because...
Well, you trying to talk about that network?
No, yeah, well, that's one time I did.
I felt like you had that in your mind.
No, I wasn't even thinking about that. But let me tell you this, though. So the Imam here signed up for this company called ACN. Y'all probably heard about it. ACN, right? ACN, right? And I think they sell telecommunication, phones, whatever, right? So somebody got to him that was part of that, recruited him. I can't stop laughing. They recruited him, and then he came home and was so excited. So I'm like, okay, what's the excitement? What's going on? But first, they didn't really tell him what was going on. What was this?
They never tell you what's going on.
They never tell him what was on. So why are you so excited? I was like, no, but I'm going to North Carolina, whatever. I'm going down
Going
there.
to the convention.
I'm going to the convention. I'm going, right? So I'm like, okay, so what's good? And you're so excited for you to go. He could not explain to me. It got mad at me because I could not relate with him. But I said, okay, I support you.
She did support.
Yeah, I said, I will support you. But in the back of my head, I was like, And then eventually he had to find out for himself. So sometimes you got to let your man find out. You can't tell. You can't tell them the truth sometimes. They got to find out. Because they be thinking you be hating. I wasn't hating. I was just like, listen, I I got caught up with that too, and I ain't gonna mention it here, but I got caught up.
Why you gonna mention my thing here, but won't mention your thing?
No, I just don't want to.
Okay.
Yeah, so like my salam to Big Cat to Brother Hakeem. A man should never tell his other wife or wives what goes on in the other wife's house. That'd be a huge mistake. That is to make wives judge each other and begin to dislike each other. Yeah,
that's true. And sometimes you got to be careful because, you know, people can put two and two together, but some wives like to pry. They will ask you certain questions or say things a certain way, and based upon how you respond, they have a little bit more information about what's going on in the other house. So you have to be skilled. Come on with your heavy hands moving the phone.
Listen. Yes, a husband should not try to force a relationship between the wives. Either it should be natural. There's nothing wrong with him keeping them separate. That doesn't mean there's animosity. I agree.
All rough.
I ain't nothing you could do and nothing you should do about what he likes or loves about another sister. It's not your beauty, it's your booty. Mashallah. Allah bless your family. Allah brings scholars from your offspring. I mean. You guys say, kid, thanks for the time and everything. Assalamu alaikum. Like my salam to Allah. I love that part about Khadijah too. I never mind taking care of my man and still listening. And alhamdulillah. Right. So, you know, just marriage in itself.
Oh, you want to sign up for it too? Well, you should have signed up under me so we could fail together, man, when I was there.
Well, something that sounds too good to be true is too good to be true. Well, you do it. You act like your finger's smaller than me.
Not smaller, you just rough. Like, bang! Phone be moving.
Highlight, Binti, Kuwait. Sister was actually who suggested to right. So it's to work for him. He used to work for her as a shepherd for some coins that mentioned in Pastor Sarah. Alhamdulillah.
See, you got the Sarah master.
Alhamdulillah.
I'm seeing you making it on move.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
But yeah, so alhamdulillah.
Another thing that comes that this hadith and this statement of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, whenever I read it, the first thing that I think of is because usually when you hear the word loyalty or the concept of loyalty, you usually think that, okay, I'm a leader, my followers should be loyal to me. I'm a husband, my father, my family, my wife should be loyal to me. Usually people up top or above in a hierarchical chain expect loyalty from those beneath them.
Goes up.
But in reality, in Islam, loyalty goes both ways. And this is one of the many examples I always think of in the lifetime of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, how the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was loyal to his dead wife. He was loyal to her while she was alive, and he was loyal to her after she passed. Alhamdulillah. And this is one of the many examples. This is a sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He didn't say, okay, she's going out, alhamdulillah, it's on to you, the pretty little young thing right here. No, he wasn't like that. Like, he really loved her, and you couldn't take that away from him. It didn't matter that she had passed 10, 13 years earlier. It didn't even matter.
Exactly. It was that loyalty. Yeah. She was sincere. She was 100% in that marriage. You understand? And it wasn't conditional. She just did it, for the pledge of Allah and to please her husband. I want to go back though. I also wanted to point out, it's obvious that he loved Khadijah, right? Loved her. And loved her. And so it reminds me how the Prophet ﷺ had made dua to Allah about those things that he didn't have control of, which was his heart. And we have to be mindful of that. A husband may love one wife more than another. He's not doing anything wrong because he has no control over that. Allah has control over that. And so we have to be mindful of that. And it doesn't take away from you. As a person, it's just natural that he may love one more than the other, a different way than the other. That's just what it is. And if you're trying to, make sure that you get all the love, you actually cut yourself out because you can't take away something that, that's already been written for you, and it's like, we have to be mindful of our share. Everything in this world, Allah assigned us it, whatever the percentage is. And so you're grateful for that thing. you being the grateful servant, the one that's receiving it, you see it as a big thing. You're not looking at it as, well, why I only got this portion and they got that portion. Stop looking over here. Yeah, stop comparing yourself to over here. What do you have in front of you? Are you grateful for that thing? Because evidently you're not, because you're not satisfied with it. And you're not satisfied with the
when you're not satisfied or grateful, Allah takes that thing away from you. And you touched on another point about the love of the heart. You know, a lot of people think, and this is because of do-it-yourself Islam, DIY Islam, you know, Google Islam, where people read a verse of Quran and don't understand it. They, you know, some people, and people literally say this, well, if he can't love us both equally, then he shouldn't marry more than one wife because he's supposed to be just. And people are completely mixing up the verses of the Quran. Because Allah commands the man to be just in his dealings between wives. As Allah says in Surah Nisa, verse 3, Surah chapter 4, verse 3. The justice that Allah is speaking about in that verse is the division of his time and his wealth, the necessary wealth. People don't even understand that, and I don't want to get off into that.
Nope.
Further on in that same chapter, I believe it's ayat 127, or give or take a few ayats, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, and you will never be able to be just between wives, even if, as Yusuf Ali translates it, even if it's your ardent desire, and even if you want to be just, you can't be just. So some people with this do-it-yourself Islam see Allah abrogates polygamy that's mentioned in verse 3 by this verse, 127. No, you just don't know what you're talking about.
Exactly.
What Allah is talking about in that verse, that you will never be able to be just, is
loving them,
loving in your heart.
Equally, right? Like you cut your heart in half, and you love that one that way, and that one the same exact way, no distinction whatsoever, and that's not impossible.
And when you read the commentary on those ayats, it's going to mention hadith, which is actually a dua that you mentioned, where the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Allahumma, oh Allah, have the kiss me. This is my division. In other words, when he would divide up his time and his wealth, he said, and then he would say, this is my division over what I have control of. But, oh Allah, do not call me to account for that which I don't have no control over, meaning his heart.
Exactly.
You know.
Sister said we love our children for different reasons. So that's a natural thing. Exactly.
That's the example I always give.
Exactly. Just like a woman having a baby.
Yeah.
You know, you think, you know, your first one, oh, I'm in love. I don't think I could ever love like that. Then the second one comes. And, you know, and this is not against anybody that can't have children. I'm just saying what it feels like. You have all these children, but yet you love each and every one of them. And it's like, how do I have that capacity to love? Because Allah gave it to you. Allah either give it to you or he takes away from you. There are some women that have children and don't care two shakes about them. A'udhu billah. You know what I'm saying? But Allah is in control of that heart, of your heart, you know? So, mashallah.
Malik said, and that shows the impeccable character of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Most brothers would have been like, yeah, you're right. Forget that old lady. I got new young tenderonis. But look at Rasulullah. Despite how his beautiful young wife might feel about it, he still checked her. Allahu Akbar.
Exactly. And still doing good deeds. Yeah. Think about it. He's concerned with her hereafter. So he's doing charity in her absence. When she cannot do it herself. Think about that is love, y'all.